Okay, so you have been going no contact with certain family members in your life. And you have had to do this because you have gone through a lifetime of abuse from these people. And these people that have abused you, your abusers, it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter that they're a parent. It doesn't matter that they're a grandparent. It doesn't matter that they're a sibling. These people have abused you your whole life. Thus, they are an abuser because they are abusing their position and their role in your life as a means to be abusive. And this is one thing we have to think about is where I'm so sick and tired, and I know you are, those of us that deal with this collectively, we are so sick and tired of the whole, but that's still your dad, but that's still your mom, but I'm still their child, but I'm still their sibling. And I don't deserve to be abused because I'm still their child and I don't deserve to be abused. I am worthy of love, not abuse. We are so sick and tired of people trying to justify it. It's like, well, if they're still my dad, if they're still my mom, if they're still my sibling, then why are they so comfortable with treating me like some bitch off the street instead of treating me like their daughter, treating me like their son? If they're still my dad, why are they not acting like a dad? If they're still my mom, why are they not acting like my mom? If they're still my sibling, why are they not treating me like their sibling? And people say that as a way to justify survivors of abuse breaking away from those toxic dynamics and structures because it completely dismantles the dynamic of how things work. And here's another thing. Other family members that enable the abuse and they get mad at you for setting boundaries with an abusive person, those people, it's a few things that's going on. One, they are not courageous enough themselves to cut off and go no contact with their abusive family members. So they, believe me, in the back of their mind, they are thinking of going no contact with certain family members, of saying, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I'm moving on with my life. I do not want you in my life anymore. They think of this in the back of their mind, but they are afraid to do so. Why? Because they are afraid of the backlash that's going to come. They are afraid of how people are going to perceive them because they are terrified of being perceived other than how they want to be perceived. They are afraid of the criticism that is going to come from them. That's going to come from others, excuse me. They are so afraid of what the outside is going to think of them that they'd rather suffer internally because they would rather suffer internally and suffer in silence because they are too afraid to speak up. They are too afraid of what people outside of them externally will think about them or feel about them because they don't feel strong internally to trust themselves. They cannot give themselves compassion and grace and empathy and unconditional love. They feel like internally they have to run from their feelings and just perform and to be a certain way because they feel like they have confused instant gratification and fleshly desires with soul fulfillment. They feel like if they just satisfy their flesh and get this instant gratification, that get this external validation, that is going to fill the void for the soul fulfillment of which they lack. But in order for you to fulfill your soul, you have to pour into your soul. You have to give yourself what your soul needs. And if your soul needs distance from certain people, give that to yourself. No one's stopping you but you. And they are intimidated at the fact that you have the courage to do what they wish they had the courage to do. Also, they shame you for you going no contact with certain family members because it is going to require them to see the reality of who these family members really are. Because these enablers, they see these other abusive family members and they fall for the illusion of who they think they are. Like, they want to believe that this parent is a good parent. They want to believe that this grandparent is a good grandparent. They want to believe that this person is a good person. Like, they want to believe this parent is a good parent. They want to believe that. So, and they are holding on so much to that belief that they are unwilling to face the reality of the situation. And by you needing to go no contact from that family member, that they hold on to this idea, they hold on to that baby for dear life. They are holding on so tightly, such a great grasp and grip on that idea that this family member is such a good person, that anything that comes outside and contradicts that belief, they would rather fight and argue with you to defend this belief that they are holding so tightly on, instead of just releasing the idea and facing the reality. They don't want to let go of that idea, because for whatever reason, holding on to that idea is helping to make their ego and their flesh feel validated and feel good, because they want to be right. They don't want to be wrong. Them holding on to that belief and idea and being right about it means more to them than the reality of the situation. Them being right is more important to them than facing the reality of the situation. And some people just don't want to face reality. And when they're constantly running away from their reality, they are constantly in denial, and they are constantly self-sabotaging themselves. They're constantly at war with themselves, and they are constantly dealing with their own storm, and they want to come and pull people into their storm. They want it to pull you into their storm. Do not allow someone to pull you into their storm. No. I'm not about to sit up here and be rained on just because you are raining on your own parade does not mean that I want to come be rained on myself. No. So because your reality contradicts their belief, they have a tough time trying to be open to the idea that maybe this person is not as good as I think they are. Maybe I'm believing in that they're a good person, but maybe they have actually done some bad things. Maybe they really are abusive. They don't want to face the reality. And if they don't want to face the reality, that is completely on them. But they are wrong for going off on you and for fighting with you about it, because now what's happening is they are not creating a safe space for you emotionally. They are, pretending and performing a way to hold space for you, but they're not actually holding space for you, because they don't respect your feelings. They don't respect your boundaries. They just they invalidate you and gaslight you, so they're not a safe space. And because they are having trouble understanding how you're feeling, because they're not giving you love, they're not giving you unconditional love, they're not giving you grace, they're not giving you empathy, they're not giving you compassion. So because they are lacking in the love department, because they are lacking the love towards you, that is why they're not getting what they want. They're not giving you love, they want control. So because you're not under their control, because they cannot control you and control what you do, control how you think, control how you feel, control your decisions, then they get frustrated. And because they are the ones that are not coming from a place of love, now they're having trouble understanding where you're coming from. And because they're having trouble understanding and they lack the emotional intelligence to deal with all of these emotions, they address the situation from an emotionally unintelligent place, because they are not strong. They don't have enough emotional intelligence to deal with this situation in an emotionally intelligent way. They think they're doing it the right way, but they're only doing it to the way that their brain capacity has reached, and they're at a very low level of emotional intelligence. All because they are having trouble understanding you and having empathy for you, because they're lacking empathy, they're lacking love. So because if they can't fully understand you, now they're shaming you, now they're fighting you for it. When all of that would stop happening if they just showed you more empathy. and showed you more love and gave you more grace and compassion and understanding and understanding, but they refused.